Thanks for taking the time to join me today after what has been an eventful week for PCL. Firstly, let's start with the news from Woodside and their decision to withdraw from the PEL 87 farming opportunity. Now that the dust has somewhat settled, are you able to provide any background behind their decision?
Not a great deal. It's a question that we obviously are getting asked a lot. Woodside have not given us any specific reasons for their decision not to go any further with the PEL 87 project. However, I think I would encourage anybody who's interested and curious to sort of go and have a look at Woodside's current strategy, which we believe has changed quite significantly over the last couple of years since we first got involved with them in the PEL 87 project. They now seem to be very much more focused on developments. Previously, they talked about black oil, deep water exploration as being one of the pillars of their business. We don't see so much mention about that now. They have a relatively low exploration spend, certainly in the current financial year of $200 million US. PEL 87 drilling would take a big chunk of that. And we've seen a very large acquisition in the US. We're seeing them explore perhaps near to where they have existing infrastructure, certainly in Senegal and the Gulf of Mexico. They are looking definitely at projects that meet a certain IRR threshold and also very short-term payback. So I think things perhaps have changed. I can't be certain for Woodside, but I would certainly encourage viewers, if they're curious, to go away and have a bit of a read up. So I think that's probably that's the position we're sort of assuming right now.
Thanks, Ian. Now, on the same day the Woodside decision was reported, you also announced your prospective resource estimates for the PEL 87 project, which demonstrate the huge exploration potential of this asset. How encouraged are you by these outcomes, and how does Saturn's prospectivity compare with the major discoveries to the south of PEL 87?
We're extremely encouraged. We've been continuing work, even now. We completed a recent paleo scan study, which did an awful lot for the risking and improved the chances of success from our perspective. We now have identified two prospects, both large prospects called Oryx and Hyrax, and also a number of additional leads. And these are all quite sort of look-alike features. Oryx and Hyrax stand out as the largest. We believe they certainly warrant drilling. Now, we put out prospective resources just earlier in the week, and we regard the volumes and the size of the features as stacking up well compared to what else we're seeing to our south in the Orange Basin. You know, we know that Mopane has been reported to have an in-place number of oil of around 10 billion barrels. We believe over a number of targets within the Mopane complex, which kind of is quite similar to what we're seeing, we believe, at Saturn. So Saturn we regard as a complex, and the numbers we put out we think stack up very well, certainly with the Venus and Getty discoveries, and also with Mopane. Now, we've, at the same time as putting out prospective resources, which by definition are recoverable, we're obliged to do that to the ASX. We did provide the original oil in place numbers for the targets in order to help investors understand how our leads and prospects stack up against those discoveries. The reason being that typically Orange Basin resources that are quoted in the media variously, they tend to be the in-place numbers. So, for example, in the high case for oil in place for all the targets we see potential for up to 17 billion barrels. So it compares well to Mopane. Likewise, in the best case, kind of the mid case for oil in place, we see potential across the leads for just over about nearly 5.5 billion barrels. So we're certainly excited by what we see, and we look forward to taking this out to the market to introduce to other potential farmees.
Okay, so can you just tell us about the geological chance of success that you've quoted?
Yes, certainly. So we've quoted for Oryx and Hyrax geological chances of success of 22.5% and 19.7%. Respectively. Why aren't those numbers higher, we get asked? Well, we are some distance from Mopane and the Venus discovery. We don't, as Pancon, we don't have the benefit of having viewed any of that data, any of Galp's seismic data, well data, or Total's. So we don't internally have a direct analog that we can point to say, for example, Oryx looks like a Mopane feature. We just don't have that information. If we did, and they looked similar, then we would be able to uplift the geological chance of success quite significantly, most likely. So these numbers are determined in a very sort of scientific, rigorous, disciplined manner. We're happy with a 22.5% chance of success at Oryx, for example. And I think it's important to note that drilling success within any of these single features would likely result in a significant uplift to the chance of success of all the remaining leads and prospects.
So Ian, factoring in the Woodside decision and the highly encouraging prospective resources for PEL 87, where does this leave PCL positioned at the moment?
We see ourselves as having a clear runway. Woodside has moved on. This leaves Pancon in a position where we're free to promote the company and our prospects kind of unconstrained, unfettered. What has Woodside done for us? Well, we've walked away from the Woodside agreement. We haven't lost a single percentage point of equity. We haven't spent any of our own funds on sort of in-ground exploration. And we have the benefit of a 60 million Aussie dollar 3D seismic data set, which is vast, it's exceptional quality, it's real state-of-the-art, it's defined fantastic prospectivity. So we feel we're in a good place. And we recognized some time back that we needed to prepare for the possibility that Woodside may not proceed. So we have had a process underway for some time to begin to search for alternate farming partners. We've received third-party interest just in the first quarter of this calendar year. And importantly, we, having not given up any equity for that seismic data set, we have a 75% working interest to deal with. So we feel there's certainly scope to bring in a partner, potentially even for an improved deal relative to what the farming deal would have been under Woodside. We're well funded. We have no real expenses. We have a very low quarterly cash burn. So we're in a good position, we believe, to go out and find a partner. Which sort of companies are we targeting? Well, I think obviously we'll be looking to promote this to existing players within the Orange Basin and Namibia more broadly. Certainly fair to say we'll be targeting the super majors. We need companies who have a very significant balance sheet and funds available to drill what is expensive. This is expensive drilling in this area, this deep water area. And also we'll be looking at potentially NOCs and other potential strategic entrants to Namibia, some of which we've had some inquiries who we would definitely regard as potential strategic entrants to Namibia.
And just finally, Ian, what can you tell us about the farm out process?
Yeah, Alex, we really can't go into specifics on that. I want to say there's a process underway. We're fully prepared. We are not going to go into. We get variously asked questions about, is the data room open? Is it closed? We can't. Is this a commercial process? It needs to be kept highly confidential. Other than to say that we do have a process underway. We've got a fantastic data set. We're seeing interest from potential farmees, and I'm sure on the back of the announcement earlier in the week, we can probably expect to receive more inbound inquiries. In fact, we're getting them sort of almost daily. So we've mentioned the kind of the company we're looking for, and our job now is to get on with it and secure a farmer need to confirm that we can get a well or two drilled as the earliest opportunity.
Thanks, Ian. Really appreciate the update, and thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you, Alex, and thanks everybody for the time.